Hello, everyone. This weekend, myself, Tammy, Siobhan, who's not here, still in Ontario actually at the moment, and Ryan went out to UnderworldLARP Jericho, which is the Toronto Guild, all the way out in Ontario. We live in Alberta, so it's the same country. It's still Canada, but it's like the other side of Canada. And because hey, we wanted to visit the
home chapter.
The progenitor chapter, so Jericho is the first chapter of the franchise. Like they were the first Underworld chapter, and they've been around for like super long time and whatever. And the franchise owners sort of run the show there, sort of. Anyway, they kind of
Oversee
they have a
things.
shape. They have a shaper, and then they oversee that shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we wanted to go out and check out, the old school badass original guild. So we made a plan like 6 months ago to do that. And then it snuck up on us all, and we were like, oh, it's next week. Oh, I'm not ready. Okay, sweet. So that was kind of how that went. We went out there, the four of us that went out there together, we're all playing our Jen Vespin characters, so our wild elves. I was playing Aeryn, Tammy was playing Rachel. Yeah. Siobhan was playing Iman, and Ryan was playing Angeline. We all went out as like a wild elf gang, So I guess the first thing to go over is like the trip. Right? Like getting there and stuff.
That was a long trip. It's not the longest trip I've ever taken to go to a LARP though.
No.
It was the longest.
Definitely not the longest that we've ever taken. In fact, driving to the winter site for the Saskatoon game is actually longer every time.
It's longer than flying and then driving.
It takes us longer to get to the game we play locally than it does to fly to Toronto and play in their game. So, Anyway, so we had a flight that was like Thursday. So the LARP was the long weekend because it was Canada Day on Monday, and we and they like extended the game, so it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday instead of Friday, Saturday, Sunday like usual. So we had like 2 full days rather than 1 full day and like 2 half days sort of thing. So Friday is when the game starts, like Friday evening. And we got to Ontario at 5 a.m. Friday morning. Because we took a red-eye flight.
Well, I guess it would have been like 7 their time because we would have lost a couple.
No, it was 5.
It was 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we left at 11. So we, even gaining the 2 hours, for us it was still 3 in the morning, but there it was 5. Like, it was still early.
We got there super early.
But so we got there super early. We took a red-eye flight Thursday night. So we slept like 2 hours, maybe 3-ish. And then it was like, okay, it's the day of the LARP, and we rented a car. Scott came out. Scott is somebody you're gonna hear a lot about in these stories, playing Cade, his now Jen Vespin character, but he's a Jericho local.
Yeah.
So Scott came out to get us at the airport. And help us like get the car rental done, and then we went back to Scott and Electra's place,
for a couple of hours,
and passed out for like another 2-ish hours, and around midday, like around 12, I guess, is like when we started packing to like properly go to the site.
Yeah.
And so we got into our rental car. And Ontario drivers and fucking highways, what the fuck, guys? How do you live? Like, it's the most stressful situation in the whole universe. Like, I don't understand.
There's just so many
There's so many people!
And so many cars, and everybody's going so fast.
I don't know. But so we headed out, and the site is out at a place called Fenelon Falls, which is, I don't know, like 2 hours away from Toronto ish.
It was like
hour and a half.
It was like 2-ish hours from where we were.
Where we were,
so...
but we were like sort of in a random place that I don't know if it's Toronto or not.
Because we flew into Hamilton?
We flew into Hamilton and then drove like 45 minutes from Hamilton to get to where we were staying. And then anyway, it's out in Fenelon Falls, and we took a trip that was somewhere between 2 and 3 hours to get there because we like stopped along the way, like had some food and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it wasn't what I would call the most stress-free drive because like Siobhan wasn't used to driving in Ontario, I don't think.
No, I don't think any of us
No, we were not prepared. Like, none of us were. And Siobhan was in sole custody of the rental car. She did very well, considering that nobody else drove anything. And we got to the site, and their site is, like, big.
It's like 10 acres or something?
100 acres.
That's even more.
It's 100 acres. It's 10 times what you said.
Really big.
So their site is 100 acres. And the layout is really interesting to me because it is super different to how we lay out the game in Zenistrand and like the other guilds that we've played in. Like,
everything's really spaced apart.
Yeah, like out here in the... Are we in the west?
Yeah.
Out here in the west... Sorry, I'm so tired. Out here in the west... like mods and stuff that like happens tends to happen sort of like town or nothing, you know what I mean? Like everybody is included or no one really gets into it, or it's like 2 or 3 people or whatever. Like there are some like little specific things, but mostly any mod will affect the town, right? And I say mod like I mean like module, you know, like set of story, like encounter, set of story and enemies, whatever. And when we see enemies out in Zenistrand or wherever, people are like, all right, let's go. And they go and like fight that stuff.
Yeah.
Jericho is not like that. Their sites, their camps, their various like factional camps are like fucking half hours away from each other. Like a million years, like that way and then that way. And if you want to go visit those guys, you gotta walk 20 minutes in the blistering heat, up that hill, up the gravel road, and down the path, and you just don't want to do that.
Something can happen at another camp, and you have no idea it's even happening.
Yeah, like something horrible could be happening to some of your friends who are over somewhere else, and you're
just off like chatting because you have
don't
no
even
idea.
Yeah, you don't even know what's happening. It's far enough away, you know. Although you hear a lot of yelling on the site, more yelling than I've heard.
Yeah, it's
like,
just sometimes the yelling echoes. Sometimes.
Yeah. But anyway, like the camps are further apart. So what that meant is we drove the car into the town center area. And then we had to like offload stuff and like walk it to the camp we were staying at. We were staying at a camp called Fenheim, which is a place where there's a bunch of Einhar, which are like the Vikings of Underworld, basically. And we'd been told we could stay there because Cade usually stays there, and he's friends with like the people who are there, and so we were allowed to like visit and stay there with them and like be under their hospitality, you know, which is important to some of them because there's a bunch of Eindredil followers in there, and Eindredil's the like goddess of the sea and hospitality, basically. So they take that very seriously, you know, like. You know, you can shelter under our roof, quote unquote. Yeah. Which is good because, you know, being welcomed somewhere is like super important when you have no idea what the fuck you're doing or where you are.
It makes like all of the difference when you're a visiting player.
Yeah, like having somebody be like, "You're welcome in my camp. You can come here. You can stay here, and that's fine and good. And I look forward to meeting you and whatever other shit." So important when it's a place you've never been and a site you don't know. And things get really dark really fast.
It was a new moon too.
Yeah,
so
it was like light. It was a very dark game.
Yeah.
So we got everything unpacked, and we got set up in our big tent at the very back of the Fenheim camp. This is like a 16-person tent or something. It's fucking nuts, nuts sized.
Looks like somebody glued 6 tents together.
Yeah. And it's not just, like, us staying in there. It's, like, a bunch of people from the camp and, you know, like, more other people as well, which is cool. We got to meet some cool people, like Dibs, who is, like, the Jarl of Fenheim. So he's in charge of Fenheim. But he's, like, the most lighthearted dude.
He was pretty awesome.
That, like, exists.
Yeah.
So we met Dibs. Roland, who's like the Weaver of Cassandra, so he's like a mega healer, basically. Was staying in there. Scarf, who's like a shape-shifting druid Einhar, who uses his totem form to like mostly fight stuff, is what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a bunch of really cool people.
What? Who else? I mean, like Godwin and Mentha and Charles and like so many people. There's so many names in my brain. Strawberry, yeah. Like just a bunch of people that live up in that camp who it was super fun to meet and interact with and like so on. Some of you I talked to less than others. That's not because I didn't want to, but it seemed that some of you were much more busy than others of you, you know, so I let you be busy because I'm just a visitor and I have no responsibility in this place. So once we were set up, it was game time, basically. And they started their game pretty punctual. It was like 10 p.m.
They said 10 and they started it at 10.
It was like 10 p.m. I'm trying to remember what the fuck even happened on Friday night.
We came through the Skyne Gate and then heard that Alistair was missing.
Oh, right, yeah. So we arrived via the Skyne Gate, which is like the portals that you can travel to the various locations in Underworld through. You know, if you want to go to Zenestrand, you go through the Skyne Gate from Jericho and various, you know, it's an interconnected network of portals, so it's the easiest way to travel. So we came through the Skyne Gate, and they set off a firework for our arrival, you know, like, Skyne Gate opens! Yeah. You know, and we came in.
Pretty neat.
It was pretty cool. Then there were like 10 of us or something, like visitors. There was like a large contingent.
There was a lot of people.
A large contingent of Zenestrand players.
They said like 35 players from like all other
various visiting places.
Yes, a bunch of people had come from like Growlinwood and stuff as well. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So for Zenestrand players, it was like you, me, Siobhan, and Ryan were our like little main group. But then we also had Hope, Jesse, and Orion. And Hope is like this Wood Fae healer who's really intent on like, defending the World Tree, which is what we were there to do. We'd been sort of called there to do that. Yeah. So she's like on the warpath, but she's also a healer, so I don't...
She's like a healer on the warpath.
Angry healer! Yeah. What are you gonna do, heal me to death?
Beat you with her stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Orion, who is the Dread Knight of Sphærin. Sphærin being like the Loki god, the god of chaos. So to speak, although not quite as chaotic as I make it sound.
And then Casimir. And
then there was there's Casimir, who is the cleric of Determin, and also Joran, right?
Who's like a druid.
Who's like a druid high elf. I don't really know much about Joran, other than that he likes to trade. So anyway. We come through the Sky Gate, we go up to our camp, we get situated a little bit, we meet some people, and then we come back towards town center because like nothing's really going on. Mm-hmm. And we hear from someone that Alistair has been kidnapped.
Yeah, some people are saying that they saw Alistair unconscious being dragged away by some complete strangers. And the strangers were like, no, that's okay. He just drank too much. We're taking him home. And we were like, okay.
So Alistair is this little dragon knight aspirant of Tezoth, like the dragon of like good and justice and whatever. I don't really know the full details of Tezoth. I don't care about dragons. But like basically like a little tiny cinnamon roll of a guy. Like he is as
like
much
really
a
nice
squishy,
guy.
he's much a squishy little like nerd as like any person could possibly be. It's like the best that I can describe.
It's just
him.
like this like nice guy that like fights with a shield and is an aspiring dragon knight of the dragon of
like honor and
honor
justice
and redemption and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's just like yeah.
And he's visited Zenestrand a bunch of times. Like we know him, you know.
Yeah.
So when we heard that like Alistair's been kidnapped, our first response was like, where? You know, like, what direction we're gonna kill, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Grabbed him, right? We're gonna go there and fuck him up. And they're like, we think it was that way. We're like, oh, great.
You think.
You fucking think. Who saw it happen?
You watched him get dragged away, and you think it was that way.
And of course, we're having that weird situation where like we're visitors, so nobody cares what we think or do or say.
And we also have no idea where to go because we don't know the area.
Like out of game, where the fuck is anything? Because we don't even know like on an out of game level. Like in game, yeah, it's a new place to us, but out of game, it's also a new place to us. We've never been anywhere, and it's dark. And there's no visibility, and you can hardly see the person in front of you. And we're, like, trudging around these paths trying to find fucking Alistair, who's been dragged off by some cultists. I think we walked around for, like, 45 minutes, like, looping around.
We did, like, a complete loop, and then we ended up back where we started, and we were like, how did we get back here?
What the fuck happened? Yeah. And so then we had to, like, give up the search. We're like, hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, like, it's been long enough, so
and that
that
was
if he's
it.
dead, it's too late. Like, we can't do anything. We just have to go to sleep and hope he's okay.
So we went back up to camp, because I think we were headed to bed, basically.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't that much else to do. Like, we chatted with some people and, like, did some stuff.
Into a fight.
And got into a fight. Yeah. Yeah, we got into a fight. I was approached by this Einhar guy, and he's like, you know, so who are you? What are you here for? I'm like, I'm Aeryn, Shaman of the Gen Vespin, and I'm here to help defend the World Tree. And he's like, defend the World Tree? Like, well, from what? I'm like, from Nidhogg, the brown dragon,
like,
chewing on the roots of Nidhogg.
He's like, oh man, like, Nidhogg's really making a mess. Like, I hope if we have to fight him, I hope we can fight him in some other plane. Like, let's go fight him in the Fey Realm or somewhere else. Like, let's not fight him here, because if we fight him here, it'll, like, fuck everything up.
Yeah, like, he doesn't want Jericho to get ruined because of a fight with the brown dragon in Jericho.
But
he's like, we'll fight him somewhere else.
Yeah, but...
So
like,
that's ruined.
But, like, of course, like, the Gen Vespin are from Logarin, and Logarin's been destroyed, so, like...
Yeah, like, our island got smashed by a dragon.
Right? So, like, I hear this in character, and I'm just like, how dare you? Like, how dare you say, let's go fuck up somebody else's house?
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay. Like, my home was destroyed. How dare you say it's okay?
Anyway, we're having this conversation, like
it's getting
it's
heated.
real close and real heated, where
Yeah.
like he's just like, well, I don't want this place to get ruined. Do you understand? Like, and being like super aggressive.
Yeah, and so, like, I'm being like, how dare you say that? Like, it's so insensitive.
Well, and you're trying to explain it, and he's just talking over
and he's
you.
Like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not my place, so like, I care about my home. I'm just telling you that I care about my home, and we're both just kind of getting like madder and madder at each other, and louder.
And like, there's an audience to this at this point,
yeah,
and like,
everybody's watching. Like,
and
who?
And Cade, I think Cade said something like, "Kova, don't kick the wasp nest." You know,
he
what
did.
I mean?
He
like,
said that
something
exactly.
like that.
It was so good.
And I saw Anne was standing behind the guy as well. So like if stuff had kicked off, it would have kicked off pretty hard, and I wouldn't have we didn't want that to happen. It's Friday night for a long weekend game, and we're already in a situation.
In a fight with the people that are hosting us.
We're already in a situation where we might get into like an actual fight with the people who. Yeah, it's like we don't want to cause trouble, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of back off on it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Like, I don't agree with you, but I understand you.
Yeah,
Let's just leave it.
She said it in such a way that was like, I understand you. And the subtext was, I understand that you're a fucking idiot, basically. You know what I mean? Like, the way that you said it.
Just like, yeah, I understand. I understand. It's fine.
But yeah, so we learned later that this man's name was Kova. And pretty much everybody that we talked to was like, he's an asshole. Yeah, like, so I don't really know what would have happened if stuff had kicked off.
I talked to him after, like, I met him at Plot Camp for an NPC shift after, and we were like, that was cool. Yeah. Like, that was a good interaction.
That's good.
So there was no, like,
there's no, like, out-of-game bad blood.
It was just, like...
all in-game.
It was just, like, a good in-game argument.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And I think that was the end of our evening on Friday.
Yeah, I think we went to bed after that. We were just like, nope, done.
It was just like, okay, we should go and fucking definitely not stir up any more trouble. It's Friday night. I don't need this stress in my life. Everybody go to sleep. Sleeping conditions were interesting because obviously we're visiting, so we can't bring all our gear. You know what I mean? And, how is my brain not pulling this name from... oh my god. What the fuck? Hang on, I'm gonna get there. No. Cade, but out of game.
Scott?
Oh my god, yes, Scott! Fuck! I'm so tired.
I'm there too. Can't remember words.
Anyway,
Words are hard.
so Scott and Electra had hooked us up with like a bunch of blankets and like really been super accommodating with like trying to keep us, like from dying in the weird temperature that it was. It was like hot and rainy the first night, which is like, are we in a jungle? What is happening?
Like, why is this rain warm? I don't understand.
I was very confused. But anyway, it's fine. Super accommodating with like getting us gear and pillows and blankets and stuff. But it's been a long time since I've slept on the ground. And that was the situation, you know what I mean? Like, sleeping on the ground in the tent.
I was sleeping on a rock.
Me too! I found one that was like this!
I had like a big flat one that I like finally figured out how to
like,
lay just on my back.
Get it around it.
Just like, alright.
So Siobhan Siobhan and I, when we're at LARP, we sleep together. Obviously, when we have a sleep together out of game too, because we love each other very much. But,
we have like a camp cot.
Yeah, we have like a 2-person camp cot, and she likes to like cling on. But the thing is that she's so aggressive with her like her cuddles that she like nudges you or like pushes you. Cause you like try and pull away to get like a bit of air, and she just like fucking clings on like she's gonna strangle you basically. I mean she's the best, but like in this particular situation, I mean like usually I'm like yes I like to snuggle, but in this particular situation I was like there's a rock stabbing me in the ribs and you're pushing me over it. Like what I'm trying to do is sleep around it. And like I put like my robe and like hugged the robe so that I could like have that over the rock and then like kind of go around it, and it kind of worked. But then Siobhan was just like slowly like scraping my ribs across this rock, and I'm like, all right.
I kept on like rolling around this like, rock that I was sleeping around and kept moving, and I think at one point Scott said he woke up and we were like this
like inches
from
away,
each other, and he was like, ah!
Oh god! If I touch Rachel, then I'll get stabbed.
Which I love how that's the response. Yeah, that's funny.
But it was good. It was good. It was a weird combination of temperatures that I was not used to, because it was like everything was damp, but it was super warm. And so all the blankets were damp, and the pillows were damp, and I was damp, but I also was
really warm.
Really hot, but also needed the blankets over me, or I would chill out immediately. It was weird. It was this weird... I could not explain to you how weirdly uncomfortable it was.
It was just really different, like, definitely not used to that sort of climate at all.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyway, that. And then...
Rituals?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we had organized with one of the locals, Redtail, that Saturday morning we were going to do rituals. Because we wanted to leave, or Siobhan, like Iman, wanted to leave a light circle in Jericho for Cade. Because Cade is a devout Sibylite, a devout worshiper of the goddess of the hunt. But Cade is not a cleric, so Cade cannot cast bless and, do things that like interact directly with that god's power. Mm-hmm. It's just like whenever plot feels like bestowing some gift, So Siobhan, as Iman, wanted to leave a light circle behind so there was some connection for Cade to like access the power of Sybil, So we wanted to do a ritual early in the morning. And we did. I think Cade woke us up, was like, guys, it's like 8, it's time for the rituals. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I get up out of bed.
Because the player base is like bigger there, so you have to schedule a time with their marshals like ahead of time. So they have
You don't have to, but they don't promise you a marshal if you don't.
Yeah, so I think they had like scheduled like first thing in the morning.
Yeah, so we had scheduled like for 8 o'clock we need a ritual marshal for our ritual. And I was like, all right, cool. So we go out to where we're gonna put it, or we go to meet Redtail first. And Redtail is this fox wolven, so he's got like this like fox mask sort of thing and like a tail, and he is like super 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 chill, like really nice, super nice guy. I don't know what everybody else was saying about him, like flirting with people and whatever. Like, I didn't see any of that.
I didn't get any of that.
But
I just got, like, real friendly.
Yeah, he was, like, super, super nice. And a very powerful caster. You know, he's been around for a long time. He's seen a lot of stuff. He's, like, a really potent ritualist. So he was totally chill with, like, oh, yeah, I'll just put an enchanting circle over it. It's done. It's easy, you know? So first up was Siobhan and I. And we had to wait a little bit for the ritual marshal, because nobody was awake or something. Scott went to go check it out, and came back.
Yeah, they were doing something in plot camp, so they.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
Yeah.
But we got a ritual marshal out to you know, watch over the ritual, because there's a lot of rules involved in ritual casting, and you need somebody to be like, you fucked up, or you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. The funny thing was, like, it seemed really blasé by comparison with how rituals are done out, like, where we are. Because I think we're just doing rituals, like, it's still a serious thing, like a serious matter.
Rituals are pretty new in our guild. Like, people are just getting to that level where they can do them. So it's like a new thing for us.
Like, a little while ago, it was still being done, but it was exceptional, and now, like, more people have access to the idea of rituals, and it's like, sort of
It's still
unique.
relatively new.
But it seemed pretty blasé in terms of, oh yeah, you're gonna have to speak up, I think, because it's sort of hard to hear you, apparently.
Sorry!
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, just project.
Okay.
But so, me and Siobhan were doing the light circle. I don't even think our marshal was really watching at all. Not that there's a lot you need to marshal for a light circle. It's not, like, particularly...
Like, the ritual to do a light circle is really easy.
Build an altar.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And I personally like watching people do them because, like, the ones I've seen people do, like, really cool role play, but I imagine if you've seen it a thousand times.
But it's like build an altar and then bless that altar. And that's the ritual.
It's a really easy ritual.
What I have realized is on the paper nowhere does it say that you have to keep crafting for the whole ritual.
No,
so we didn't do that.
You just like sit there for the rest of the
So
time.
we crafted it up and then we went bless and then we sat there. You know? And when I say we, I mean Siobhan did that, and I did like one or two things just to say, like, because on the paper it says casters build a shrine,
so you both have
not
to do it.
primary caster builds a shrine. So I had to do something. I added like a thing to the shrine.
Have to help.
That counts. Yeah. But our marshal was having like an out of game conversation the whole time with like some other player while we were doing it. It was a little bit off putting, but that's okay. It's fine. We got it done. And what we wanted was a marshal and for the thing to get done. But it felt weird to me. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, we did that. And then we stepped back and we let Redtail work his magic. And he put together an enchanting ritual circle.
Which adds a year to the duration.
So that light circle will be there for a year now.
Isn't it a year and 3 months?
No, because the light circle has not been updated. So it is not a 3-month duration.
So it's just a year.
And yeah.
Well, once it's updated, it'll be long.
Yeah. But the other thing is you could just put another enchantment circle over it when it's like 8 months in the future. You could just cast enchantment circle on top of it again.
Yeah, you could.
And it would extend the ritual again. So you can like perpetuate the circle with enchantment circles.
That works. Yeah.
But anyway, so Siobhan, or Iman, invested like herself and Cade in the circle. I didn't invest myself in it because you can only be invested in as many circles as what is it? Plus one your spheres. Yeah. So if you cast 2 different types of magic, you can be invested in 3 circles. If you cast no magic, you can be invested in 1, so on and so forth. Like that kind of math. So I didn't think it was really super useful for me to invest myself in a light circle in Jericho.
That you're probably not going to see.
That I doubt I will interact with very much. And I need those circles to make a 30-foot psionic circle. I mean, what? That's my plan, by the way.
It's just huge psionic circle.
Yeah,
You're
because
gonna need more rope.
Yeah, because when you're in it, you can manifest a Psyblade at will. So the bigger it is, the more people can fit in it to manifest Psyblades at will.
You just do a huge circle and invest everyone, and they all have Psyblades.
Yeah, and then you just fight the mod in the 30-foot circle.
You're gonna need more rope.
Yeah, I am. Definitely. I also thought about making a dueling ring at some point. That would be fun.
Those are fun.
It's like...
You get all your skills back when you're done, right?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked by ritual. I have a great ritual idea for a minor glamour, by the way, but we'll get to that. I'll get to that at the end, okay? Because I don't want to sidetrack myself with ritual shit. So, we got it done. We did all the ritual stuff, and it was super like heartwarming. What I will say was it was funny to see Redtail do the enchantment circle.
Oh.
And I say that only because he has clearly learned that he bobs over the line way too much. So, and like that's the story you always hear about Redtail. Always his tail. Well, that his tail like flops over the line and like puts red stones or black stones into rituals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cause
that's the story. That's the story as I had heard about Redtail. Like he's super powerful, but he's also kind of a dunce. You know.
Well, like when you've got this like
that's what I'd heard.
Tail as part of your costume, it's
yeah,
not
it sucks. You can't like
so you don't actually know where it's going.
And it's not your robe. You can't just take it off, right? I totally get it. But so when he did the enchantment circle, what he did was he lay on his stomach in the middle of the circle and just like shuffled along while he was like winding the like cord.
The rope.
It was totally effective.
That's so great. Like that's really smart.
Like he knew exactly where all the pieces of his body were. You know what
I
mean?
That's like really funny, but also
really smart. Like yeah, like in terms of like doing it properly.
I would have liked to see that.
It was pretty good. It's pretty good. I was like, oh, I gotta remember that. You know, like for
really
if I do
it.
Yeah. Because I got enchanting coming up, so I'm gonna have to do that pretty soon. But yeah, so Redtail put the enchanting circle down.
Just like this little fox on all fours, like.
And then we were done with that. What was the next thing on Saturday?
Breakfast, and then it was either Witches or Brood.
Brood was next. Brood. So we went to have breakfast because Electra Syl was providing us with breakfast. The entire food the entire weekend, so we didn't have to worry about it, which is really nice, and I still have to pay her for that, so remind me.
Yeah.
But so we got fed pretty good food. What was breakfast that morning?
We had kebabs.
Oh yeah, we did.
Because
it was like a lunch breakfast.
That we were just like, let's just have lunch.
It was like 11:30, so we just went for like the lunch kebabs, basically.
Yeah, they were really good.
Which were super good. Cooked over a fire, you know, on a grill. It was pretty nice. Yeah. Pretty nice. And then we got news that there was somebody gathering people up to go fight the Brood.
Yeah, some like adventuring guild guy or something.
And so we were like, the Brood?
Like,
count us fucking in. Killing the Brood is our whole deal. You know?
It was like, I'm so sorry. I can't afford to pay you all. I only have 6 gold for this bounty. And we're like, shut up. Where's the Brood?
Yeah. Don't care about your gold. Get your gold out. And killing Brood is its own reward. Where are they?
I don't want your money.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. So we followed this guy out into like a little field, and there were like it was like most of Fenheim came with us. Like Dibs was there, like Strawberry was there.
Yeah.
We had a couple people from Fenheim came with us, and we fought these Brood that were hanging out. I think the mod was meant for less people. It felt like it, but it also didn't feel like we were too many.
No, I think, like, if I had to guess, I think they might have done more spawns than they planned.
They definitely.
But I have no idea.
I think they definitely.
It felt like they were prepping for less, got more, and then like adjusted on the fly. Like I have no idea. This is just my like guess, but it was good.
But so we went out to fight. We went out to fight some Brood, and we steamrolled it like hard.
Those Brood did not stand a chance.
Those Brood did not stand a chance. Yeah, like I used spells I should have saved, honestly. Like,
yeah,
but
we
why?
hate Brood,
yeah,
like,
but why not just use them?
like
Right?
narratively we hate Brood, so like why wouldn't we just?
Yeah,
like,
the Gen Vestmen have
pull
like
them
a sort
out?
of racial hatred for the Brood. Is our take on it. So we go hard when it comes to Brood enemies. So we racked that up, and the guy was like, "Oh, I only have 6 gold to pay you and stuff."
Like,
and
whatever, we don't
and
care.
we just like brushed it off, and he gave the gold to Dibs to like hand out to people, and Dibs comes over to me and he goes like, "For your people," and gives us like 3 gold,
Yeah, like
which is
half
like
the
half
pay.
the total pay.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool, and I look to everybody around and I go, "Hey, so we've been paid, like."
But it's
like,
money.
Like
so.
the respect that we've been paid,
Yeah.
right? But I'm just gonna give it to Victor.
We're like, yeah, whatever.
We good? Good. Okay. Put it in my pocket. Put 3 gold in my pocket to give to Victor later. Victor being our Weaver of Erasmus human merchant friend.
Yeah.
/ my property. I mean, what?
He's that crow that follows us around and like picks up all our trash, but like all of our trash is
gold.
Like,
so it's kind of worth it.
yeah.
But so we put the gold away to give to Victor. Because we didn't really care about like a reward necessarily.
We just wanted to kill Brood.
I picked up a couple little bits and pieces from the Brood. I got like a Brood leg, and like there's some alchemy stuff and some scroll making stuff.
Yeah, I got some like RM, but I gave it to Syl.
Little bit of loot.
Yeah.
The Brood leg I picked up had value not applicable, and it was an item tag, so it was worth nothing. It was just a Brood leg.
It was just like an actual trophy.
I guess.
Like...
I took it because it's loot. But it's like gray loot. You know what I mean? Like it's trash loot. But the Brood weren't that strong. They were like a little scout group, clearly. So it was cool.
You know who would buy that leg?
Who?
Scarf.
Yeah, but not the scarf in Jericho. The scarf in Zenith's
like the NPC Ratman merchant scarf.
Yeah. The different scarf. All right, so there was the Brood, and then there was the All thing. No, was the All thing on Sunday? The All thing was on Sunday. Sunday. So what was Saturday then?
It was Brood. We also fought witches.
I had a bunch of naps because it was hot as nuts.
And then we went to the market.
Oh yeah, this is a thing that Jericho players do that like I've never seen before in my whole life because there's never been a town close enough to a LARP that like had amenities. But we got to a point where we were like exhausted and tired,
like,
and hot,
so
and
hot
sweaty,
that all we wanted to do was sleep,
and like everything sucked. So we went to the farm. I think before that, Siobhan, I, and Scott went to the plot camp to do get the monolith ruling, and Siobhan have our little talk with.
Yeah, and I went for an NPC shift.
Yeah, so you were doing NPC stuff, and
yeah.
we went to go get a ruling on something. That turned out like you don't need a marshal to do monolith roleplay. Just do it.
Yeah.
And then Siobhan had a talk with Dave and Ted.
I went to an NPC shift that like I had prearranged with their shaper like beforehand to do some cross plot where I got to play one of the Zenith Strand's sort of like important NPCs to come over to do something in Jericho for like a player for some cross plot stuff. So it was really exciting and really cool for me because like you don't get to do cross-plot a lot with guilds that are further away. Like, we did that a lot with, like, the Calgary Guild. But, like, I don't know. So it was cool.
When she says cross-plot, what she means is plot that is not based only in the location where it is where it is happening, but also is relevant to other guilds. So she played, like, this... Yeah, you like this powerful NPC.
The Knight Commander of the Sheltered Wing, which is one of Tazoth's orders, and I came over to do a thing in Jericho, so it was really exciting for me. Yeah, because
fucking... Should I tell that? Yeah, because fucking little Alistair is a Dragon Knight aspirant of Tazoth, and
he sent a letter to ask for something. So like,
he sent a letter to the Sheltered Wing and was like, "Can I have a Dragon Knight come out and help me with my dragon stuff?" And
so like he's been to
they sent the Knight Commander
because he's been to Zenithstrand a whole bunch of times, and like he has a little bit of like renown and reputation there. So we like sent our Knight Commander to like help him with the thing, and it was like I was really excited.
It's cool.
It was really
it's
cool
like some,
for me that they let me do that.
Some very exciting cross guild plot. Yeah, which is nice.
Happy, so.
Even though it's little, it's still like important.
Little things are. I love them.
So while you were doing that, Scott and I were sitting like in NPC camp, basically dicking around while Siobhan had like, I don't know, cigars or something with David and Ted.
Because I saw you guys come
I don't know what Siobhan was
on my way out.
I don't know what Siobhan was getting up to, but she was definitely having a good old time. I could hear her laughing
chatting
from like
with Ted and Dave.
fucking miles away.
Yeah.
But so we waited until Siobhan was done with her chat, and we figured out the monolith doesn't need a ruling.
You just make it and you're good.
And then we ran into Tammy on our way out because we were like all so hot and bothered and sweaty and gross. And Scott goes, well, why don't we just go to the Horton farm? And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we'll just go out a game. We'll get in the car. We'll drive 10 minutes down the road to the Timmy Hose and then fucking, like have a ice cap or something.
It felt so good because like they dressed me up for that NPC shift and I was wearing this velvet outfit.
Oh,
so
God.
I was so sweaty. I looked cool, but it was so sweaty. I was like, yes, air conditioning.
So we went out a game for a little bit and like went and got ourselves a cooling beverage at the Tim Hortons, and like some different pants for Siobhan because she had like a pair of leather pants she was wearing.
She packed her suede pants.
Yes,
and was like, this was
good.
a mistake. So,
so yeah, we did indeed go and do that. Well, yeah, we were all dressed up and stuff. But I think the town has like realized that LARPers are a thing. I don't think they really care anymore.
Yeah, because they were like, "Oh, you guys are doing that thing, okay." So.
Yeah, so we went to go do that, and it was a welcome break from the weather, like getting into a building with air conditioning and stuff,
Yeah,
like for a little bit.
Rolled down the windows and drove down the road, and it was like, oh, wind.
Yeah,
so good.
So the like Scott's like patented cool off method for like I'm going to town and I'm gonna like chill out is put all the windows down and drive super fast down like the straightaway, outside of the site.
It was so good. It felt so good.
Yeah, it was just like the breeze. Anyway, that was definitely a highlight for me because I was suffering. I was suffering really bad in the weather. So much that I like tied my hair up and like
ritual flash dive.
Ritual flash dive, yeah. There's a draconic ritual called Ritual Flash Dive where you use an ability and you do the Dragon Ball Z teleport basically to the enemy and then you hit them.
You just appear in front of them.
You hit them with something like an arcane carrier. We're like driving however fast we were going down that straightaway with all the windows down must be what Ritual Flash Dive feels like. It's just like like all the wind.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just like a random thing that came up. So we got back from that and then met up with N again to make sure that he was okay.
Yeah.
Because he had been sleeping in his hammock like 90% of that time.
Yeah, because he took a nap as well.
We all did.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of was starting to get dark, right? I was all alone. And I'm sorry. It's okay. We got you in on the next day's one. So, yeah, we also went out to the Tim Hortons on the Sunday, too, because...
Why not?
If I can get an ice cap in the middle of LARP, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
But then it was the monolith. Next, I think.
I think so.
So we came back and then we did the monolith roleplay. So a monolith is a shaman vocational ability that allows you to put a barrier up for as many hours as you have members of your braid present at the time you activate it. And any member of the braid or any member or the shaman themselves can put the barrier up and down at will during that time. But it is activated for a certain duration.
Yeah, it's like a physical barrier that you can like activate and deactivate. So
a 20-foot by 20-foot square, basically, around the monolith. So it's super powerful because it's like ritual level magic without being dispellable.
It's really good.
Which is really, really cool. So we have, I think during the visit we had 7 members of the braid.
Yeah,
because
we
it
had
was
7 there.
Sil, Cade, you, me, Hope, and Iman.
Yeah.
7. So we had 7 members of the braid there, which means that the barrier would stay up for 7 hours if we activated it, which is like, whew, you know?
Means we could sleep without worrying.
Also, the monolith phys like the monolith representation, the big rock that was made for showing where the monolith will be. Oh my god, it was so cool! Scott and Drew and Electra made this super cool monolith that I wish I had do I have a picture of it?
I don't think...
Maybe there's one in the Gen Vestment chat that I can just grab. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure, like, it got posted somewhere.
If you just click on any photo, you can go back through the photos and see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, some development photos of it. But it doesn't look like the final photo was posted in the Gen Vestment chat. There's just, like, the mountain of foam that it started as.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have to get a photo.
We'll have to get a picture and show you guys
like,
at some point.
It's a 5-foot single rock that they put a glowing light in.
Oh, we got a photo.
Ooh, yeah, there it is.
All right. I got one. Here we go. So this is our friend Electra who plays Sil with the monolith. So it's like a 5-foot tall pillar basically with like a glowy light underneath some foam that changes color when you press it. So we could have it as a white light when it's not active and a red light when it is, which is oh god, so much cool detailing. It's so cool. Yeah, and thank you.
The little symbol there is the braid symbol too.
Yeah, it's like
so
Iman's
really
symbol.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So there's that. And we had to figure out a way that we were gonna activate it, because it was the first time we've activated the monolith, and we wanted to do a ritual to do it, right?
Yeah.
So Iman was like, it needs blood, and Hope goes, well, I have a rabbit. His name is Stu. When you call a rabbit Stu, you know it's destined to die.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, all right, cool. Yeah, that'll do. It takes the rabbit. And then I think she was thinking about cutting it.
Yeah, she was just about to sacrifice it, and I was like, wait. You're making this monolith for Sybil, right? Isn't she the god of the hunt? I have an owl.
So we had Raedrlin's owl, Praetor, kill the rabbit in front of the monolith. That was the wait until the command, let go of the rabbit, and then Praetor kill,
yeah.
and had them.
Yeah. So we covered the rabbit in fake blood and just outside of the tent just for the rest of the weekend, and we also smeared blood on all the trees around the barrier
to mark
so we knew where the perimeter
to mark the barrier
was.
of the monolith. Yeah.
And it was really funny because people came running up to us later that day, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, some sort of crazy blood ritual happened in our camp."
I think it was Mentha.
I think so.
Mentha came up and she's like, "Some blood rituals happened in our camp." We're like, "Nah, that was just us."
It's just
Don't
us.
worry
Don't
about
worry
it.
about it. It's fine. She's like,
okay. Yeah. But also the Jarl watched us do it.
Yeah, he was there with us.
Div was
this
fucking
is cool.
standing there. Oh, I forgot to mention the lectures.
Yes.
So Saturday was full of people asking me to tell them about Gen Vespid stuff. Because Cade, who is this newly converted, Gen Vespin, who's just been flayed and has new markings and stuff, knows a lot of people in Jericho, and those people want to know about his new family, you know? Not to mention that some other people had been I really want to know about the Gen Vespin from other times. So Alistair had asked me before, and then early on Saturday morning, I had that interview with Dr. Moran, the avian, who listened to everything I was saying and took rabid notes as she did. It was so cool.
Because the wild elf cultures out in the Eastern guilds, they don't have as intense specific culture package for tribes. They have different lore and stuff, but it's not the same as what we have. So they were all like really interested because it was something like
it's like something different, right?
Yeah.
So like that was going on. So I had that interview like in the morning, and Dr. Moran comes up to me and she's like, "Can I interview you?" And I'm like, "Of course." I love talking about Gen Vestment culture with non-Gen Vestment. It's like my favorite.
Sit down.
It's like my favorite thing.
gotta
Sit the
tell
fuck
you.
down. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you your thing.
Yeah.
But so then the others were like, we want to know more about the Gen Vestment, and they asked you guys, I think, and you were
And
like,
I was like, shaman.
they like talk to Aeryn, you know,
Yeah.
and so they came to me, and it was at one point I had I was sitting on a rock, and I had Dibs, Scarf, Alistair, and Cade
Yeah.
sitting around listening to me like spout lore on the Gen Vestment.
It was really great. Like, I spread out, like, that bloody sheet that we have, and I was like, come sit. And they were like,
Yeah. But so, it was great. I really liked that they were interested in the stuff that I had to say. And it has been so long since Aeryn has gotten to be, like, the expert on the thing, you know, and, like, talk about her own culture and, like, the way that we do things. And like have people that care and respect it.
Like, the fact that they were interested, like, in our culture and wanted to, like, know more about, like, their guests was really cool. So it was, like, a really fun conversation to, like, sit and be a part of. It was good.
Yeah. Thanks, Adam, by the way. And Natroni. The thing is, we kept getting interrupted. Because I have so much to say.
Like 6 times.
I have so much to say about, like, Gen Vestment culture, and there's always, like, some other thing that needs attending to, and every time we ended before it was over, I looked at Dibs, who was the one who had, like, really asked me to tell him and, been intent about it. I looked at Dibs, and I was like, this is not finished. You know, like, the lecture is not over. You know, he's like, of course. And then, like, went to go deal with, like, whatever it was they had to deal with.
It was fun.
Kind of stuff. I don't think I ever did finish it. Not that I don't think I even could, because I could talk for fucking ever.
No, it just means he has to come and finish.
Yeah, he has to come visit, and I can finish the lecture at home. Or, like, we'll get back out there first. I don't know. Next time we go, definitely September or May. You know, hit it earlier or later.
Yeah, don't go during smoggy April.
Holy shit. It was warm. I don't know if I can, like, properly state the amount of uncomfortable dampness that, like, the game possessed.
I'm someone who wears long sleeve shirts almost all the time. I'm not wearing one right now because I'm, like, still residually hot. But by the end of the weekend, I was wearing a sports bra and a scarf.
Like, around your waist?
Around my waist as a skirt. Like,
that was the, comfortable
that's
costume.
How hot it was.
It was too hot to do anything else.
And I'm always cold.
I was down to, like, black tank top and leggings instead of, like, my robe. Because it was just,
shedding all our pieces of costuming
so
until
warm.
we were, like, had nothing left. We were just like, we're still in costume, right? Okay.
So anyway, we did the monolith stuff. We did the lecture stuff. And now we are moving into nightfall. Mm-hmm. And we had some dinner and, like, bummed around in camp for a while. Like, hanging out with people, talking about, like, the all thing that's going to happen tomorrow, which is, like, some Einhar celebration of the Savage Gods and, you know, that kind of stuff. And we had a run-in with this, like, thing that we didn't know what it was, but it came up, like, the back of the camp, and everybody, like, scrambled to get their weapons out, and we were, like, pulling weapons and shit. And it turns out that it was a huntsmaster, like from the Wormwood, you know, like an essence of nature, basically, like, that the town had, like, pissed off somehow. We don't know the lore behind it, really. But so like... it comes busting up the back of the camp, like, wielding this sword with 2, like, chimeras with it. And we get into a fight, you know, and we combat
kill a bunch of the chimeras.
Yeah, we kill a bunch of the chimeras, we combat it down, and the huntsman is like, down. We got him out. Like,
yeah.
And we're like, okay, whew, you know, like, oh, fuck, you know, like, that was intense. And it was an intense fight. It was like, there was a lot of alchemy being thrown, a lot of, like, poison and stuff like that. Like, this huntsman was, like, really focused on the idea of, like, acid and poison and stuff.
Yeah, I think, like, each huntsman had a
They probably have, like, an aspect, yeah. So that happened. And then we were bumming around a little bit more. And then he showed up again.
Yeah, he came back.
He showed up again, but he showed up at the front of the camp and then turned into a conversation. Right? Mm-hmm. And we found out that his name was, like, Ruin.
Yeah.
And that he was there to, like, destroy... Was it destroy, like, Jericho, like, wipe Jericho off the map kind of thing?
Yeah, it was to destroy the people who had
killed Perseverance.
One of the other huntsmen. So he was like, well, you killed one of us, so, you know, have to act
like,
in
we're
kind.
here to enact revenge, basically. Yeah. Because like, some other month they'd killed a huntsman named Perseverance or something. I don't know. That's what I could glean from, like, being a visitor and not knowing the lore. Mm-hmm. And... I was kind of conflicted because the huntsmen are like forces of nature.
Yeah.
It's like fighting a thunderstorm. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like for us, like as wild elves, and for like, especially because we don't know what's happened.
Like, we don't know what pissed them off.
All we see is these forces of nature, and we're like, we don't want to fight you.
It was like pretty half-hearted,
like,
yeah.
We don't want to fight you. We don't want a part of this.
But so, like, he went away. I don't know exactly what happened because, like, some other people talked with him and I got kind of sidetracked with something else. Because, like, it's hard to push to the front of the conversation when you have no idea what's going on. So I left it to the people who did. And then, like, we waited a little around and dark fell. And that was when shit really kicked off. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
It turns out that the huntsman came back that evening. They had a desire to get into a henge that was housing this, like, nature spirit that was protecting Jericho or whatever.
Well, I think
the orb of...
I think I had another fight
orb
with
of power?
Alva first.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, alright, do that one.
So before...
Was that Saturday night?
That was Saturday night, right? Because it was like, shit, I don't want to get in a fight tonight. Like, we've got to be here for another couple nights.
You're totally right.
Before stuff happened with everything else, Ann and I were walking alone, and we came back to the camp, and as we reapproached the camp, it was really, really dark, and somebody jumps out of the darkness
like,
at us,
screaming
like, ah! Like, really, really loud, and running towards us. So, like, we jump back, and then, like, stab him. It's like...
There's a figure in the dark you can hardly see that is running at you yelling, what is your move? Stab.
He runs toward you. He runs towards us and he's like, gotcha. So we stab him. And as I get, like, in real close, I see that it's the guy that I've had the argument with the night before.
Yeah, Kova.
And I'm like, shit.
Fuck.
I don't want to get into this. I don't want to make the people we're staying with more mad. And I've just attacked him. So I repel him, and I'm like, alright, like, En's like, do you want to die? Like, go away. So I repel him, we go back to the monolith, we activate it, because we don't know how people are going to react. I've just attacked somebody that we're staying with, and we wait.
Yeah, and actually I passed him on the way back, because I heard, like, the scuffle, and I passed him on the way back, and he's like, some wild elves attacked me, and blah, blah, like, as he's passing me, like, doesn't even notice that I'm there, kind of thing. And then I saw you guys at the monolith, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
So we wait, and eventually, yeah, like, you know, some people
like
come.
Angry people come to yell at us.
So the person who comes to talk to us is Mentha, who's this, like, wild elf lady who lives with the Fenheim folk. And she is, like, real mad.
She's livid.
And it's cool. We described, like, our side of the story, and they're like, well, he says he announced himself, and then you attacked him, and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's just making some bullshit up, like, in town.
I'm like, I didn't hear any announcement.
And it basically comes down to Ray being like, if I wanted to kill him, he'd be dead. I repelled him. Mm-hmm. If I had any ill intent, he'd be dead. And, like, us coming to the like, it was an unhappy accident where he was an idiot. He played a stupid game and won a stupid prize.
Actually, the guy in charge of his camp, because he wasn't in Fenheim, he was in like,
Bearheim.
Like an adjacent camp, like a sister camp, I guess, called Bearheim. So the guy in charge of Bearheim was like, all right, let's settle all of this. And it was a really good play, because we don't shake hands.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, I'm only going to accept one thing to, like, put this all behind us. Is you have to shake my hand. And I'm just like, oof. Oof. Like, all right. Like, it was a really good play because I was, like, Ray was so angry. Like, I don't want to shake your hand. I didn't do anything
I fucking
wrong.
hate you.
How dare you? But, like, I shook his hand, and then, like, once he took my hand, he, like,
he did, like,
reached in and did the whole elbow.
He
like,
did, like, the, like, grab your arm.
Yeah, pulled me in close and held onto me for, like, a good minute and was like, this is how we show our respect. And I'm just, like, shaking, like, ooh, I don't want to be touched by a
I'm gonna
human.
fucking
like,
hurt you.
Like, I want to kill you. Like, it was really good. It was a good play on his move, and it was, like, real cool, contentious roleplay.
And it basically resolved it.
Yeah, and it kind of resolved it, and it was like, all right, let's start over. So we introduced ourselves to each other and kind of, like, said, like, let's put all the shit behind us.
Although I think Kovo was still a little sour.
I think he was, but, like...
I think he was sour his plan didn't work.
But I think he did it on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
Because, like, he thought it would be funny, but, like, I mean, I guess it kind of was, but not in-game.
Yeah.
It was funny out of game.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, just making me shake his hand was real good roleplay. Like, it was so good because Ray was, like, in character. I was so mad.
Very much did not want to do that.
Yeah, it was good.
But then, what I was going to say about Saturday night happened. So the Huntsman came back. We heard, like, a big kerfuffle, and we went to town center, like, where there's stuff going on. And the Huntsmen have declared, or the Huntsmasters have declared that they are going to take 7 hearts and use those 7 hearts to break through the barrier to Sylvana and the Orb of the Elements.
Yeah.
The things that are protecting Jericho or whatever, and take the Orb of the Elements and return
put
Sylvana to the
sleep.
Grey Elven Forest or some shit, right? Isn't it?
They said it would put her to sleep.
Oh, okay. Well, I think. I wasn't really present for the monologue, you know? What I know is 7 hearts means 7 deaths, right? And so I think somebody did try and negotiate at one point. They were like, hey, why don't we just volunteer 7 people here?
Lark was trying to negotiate with Sylvana at the beginning of the mod of, like, people are gonna die, just give it up, just give up the orb, like, you don't need it, you can live without it, just give it up, don't make people die. And, like, she wouldn't, so we had to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a slog. It was a fucking slog. It was a slog with some bad rules calls, which made it more of a slog.
I think, like, on paper, it was, like, it was one of those mods that you could win or you could lose, which I love those mods where you, like, it's not a determined outcome.
Yeah, one or the other.
But, like, in execution, it wasn't winnable.
No. I mean, they were saying Contact Alchemy hit your weapon and then hit you.
Which is basically, like, how a spell strike works, but, like,
I don't think
with alchemy, there's a lot less defenses.
I don't think that's what Contact Alchemy does. I'm, like, pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure Contact Alchemy has to, like, hit you.
Yeah. I think so.
So they made that rules call, and, like, we're not gonna argue with that, right? Like, if they say that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. Like, it's fine. It's, like, whatever.
It just made it hard.
It made the mod
really
so
hard.
difficult because everything had Contact Alchemy. Like, all the chimeras, all the, like, minions had, like, infinity Contact Alchemies.
They had Contact Rusting Dust, which
destroys your weapons.
They had Sleep, which puts you to sleep. They had Paralyze, which
paralyzes
you. And they had Enrage, which makes you...
turns you on your friends.
Yeah, basically you have to attack...
Confusion,
the first...
too. Confusion.
And Confusion,
yeah.
Yes.
So they had a bunch of different alchemy out there, and it was all, like... they basically treated it like a spell strike, so if it hit any part of you, including your weapon, tough shit.
Which was like, okay, I just can't get hit at all.
Yeah, like, I cannot get hit. I am not allowed to block, you know what I mean? It's like everything was swinging massive, basically.
Which... it's hard.
It's just tough.
It's
tough to fight not doing any blocking. What I ended up doing is I had the psionic weapon ritual, which thankfully Plot Camp over there were really nice to me. They didn't have any one-handed spear, fizz, or reps for me to use for my psionic weapon. So they let me use my psi blade as my psi weapon.
Which is like a really great
which is
Which
really
great
nice of them to like accommodate me that way as a traveling player. So I had my psi weapon, and the rep that I was using, the sword that I was using that Scott had lent me, was
really long,
about that much longer than the claws that the chimeras were using.
Yeah.
Maybe like that much longer. It was like almost half as long.
Really long.
Like,
it was like
almost half again as long.
Yeah.
And the only way I could like succeed was spell strike quicker than they could contact alchemy, and be far enough away that their swing wouldn't hit me anyway, sort of thing. Like, I had to hit them on the end of my sword with a spell strike quicker than they could do alchemy.
Yeah, I had to like, I couldn't be directly in front of them, and I had to attack and then back away.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, you got like one hit in.
Yeah, it was like one hit.
Because they'd hit your spear and then
move, and then wait until they're distracted and then hit them from behind again because couldn't risk getting in front of them.
And it was dark, like really dark. So not super safe.
Well, they had like a couple of lights like around the henge, but like anytime you left away from the henge, it was a little bit darker. All the NPCs were wearing glow sticks.
Not all of them. There were a couple that had nothing.
Most of them were wearing green glow sticks, so it made it a little bit better.
A little bit easier.
A little bit better, but like a lot of it, like you had to be super careful because the terrain there is not
great. So there were all these chimera out that we were fighting that had all this contact alchemy, and then there was the Huntsmaster somewhere, probably. I don't think I ever ran into him during that mod.
I think I saw him once or twice.
Yeah. I don't really know.
They were mostly doing the killing, so we're lucky that we didn't run into them.
Yeah, so my goal during this whole thing was make sure that none of our people died. You know, like, I was keeping tabs on Ray, Iman, Angeline, Syl, and Cade.
Yeah.
That was, like, my group of people that I cared about where they were.
And the entire time we were looking for Hope, because she had been missing since the fight started.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. So their goal was to take 7 people and sacrifice them, basically, and take their hearts. And every time they got one, they set off a firework. So we knew how many had been sacrificed, because it was, like, successful sacrifice, bang! You know?
Like, every time another one went off, we were just like...
Oh, fuck, yeah. Though, eventually it turned into, like, this is inevitably going to be a loss for us. Yeah. We just need to not get sacrificed.
Yeah, where, like, my mentality shifted from, like, instead of trying to win, all I wanted to do was make sure that the 7 people who were taken weren't the people I cared about.
Well, and the other issue, right, was that we were half-hearted in it at best.
Because we didn't want to fight
the Huntsman. Because we didn't want to fight the Huntsmaster.
And we were only there, like, we were only in character fighting the Huntsman because our friends were there and cared about it.
Well, because, like, people we cared about were embroiled in the fight. And
we can't let our people die.
Yeah, like, we're not going to sacrifice them to just not fight. So, you know, we got in there, we scrapped a bit. Eventually, we were defending the tree most of the time, and eventually they said, like, we got to push forward, we got to rescue some people, and we were like, oh, okay, fuck it.
That's a bad idea.
Let's go. You know, it's a terrible idea, but we're going to go and do it. So we ended up on the road, like, fighting, and it's dark, and these things are getting around us, and we get separated.
And I almost got killed.
Yeah, I managed to sort of slip back, because Angeline got confused, so I grabbed him and dragged him back, and was like, can anybody deal with confusion? And I left him with, like, a Woodfey doctor.
So I got enraged and started attacking people, so they had to take me down, and they healed me, but they didn't heal me with the recover, they just healed me with regular healing, so I was at 1. So I stood up, and before I even got up, I got enraged again. So attack, 1 swing. When you're at 1, if you do any action, you're unconscious again. So
she just went down right away.
I just went straight back down and was unconscious. So that was... Yeah.
And then you got, like, dragged off, right?
Yeah, so it takes 5 minutes from being unconscious to go back up to 1 again.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes later, I wake up, and I'm being dragged away slowly. And I'm like, well, this is great. So I shuffled around in my pocket, grabbed a potion, and then they tried to pick me up, and I was like, resist, because I'm conscious. And then I just got up and ran. Bullet burned all of my, like, skills and dodges and defenses just running away, like, nope. Nope. What was really scary is by that point, we had 6 fireworks. And when I woke up, there was somebody standing next to me, paralyzed. And they were dragging us both away. And I was like, who is it? And I looked, and it wasn't anybody I knew. And it felt really terrible, but I was like, that's the 7th sacrifice right there. Yeah, I just have to get away.
Like, I just have to get away.
I can't help them, because I will die if I try to help them. So I just have to let them die and get away. And that felt kind of... That sucked.
I mean, what you gotta do, right?
But it wasn't my people.
And so
I couldn't risk myself.
While this is going on, I'm like worried, because, like, she's nowhere to be seen, and I can't find her, and I can't respond, and I'm unconscious. And I can't find Amon either, you know, like, I'm looking for Amon.
Yeah, I could hear her doing the, like, sense braid call, so, like, out of game I knew she was there, but in game I don't know she's sensing me.
Yeah.
So
and so I run back out, and as soon as I run back around the wall, I swear to God, it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, you know, there's like 3 chimeras outside, and I'm standing there with my side blade, like, all right. And then N comes up beside me and goes like, no, let's go. You know, and I'm like, okay. And I follow him. I was getting ready to just like, we're going in, you know, see if I could spell strike my way through.
Yeah, so, like, I start running away, and I'm calling my dodges, and I hear Amon calling for me, and she's like, Ray, and I'm like, Amon, and we're like, run. And it's just like, and then I hear N calling, and he's with you, and we all, like, get back together, and we're like, do a count. We're like,
with us,
okay, like, we're all here.
Yeah,
we're all here. Where's Hope? Has anyone found Hope?
Nobody has seen her. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no one's seen her this entire time.
And we go, and we see, and we go back to the tree as we hear that, like, last firework go off.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh shit, get ready for, like, whatever this is gonna be.
I'm like, fuck. Something bad's
because they're coming for this tree, and they have all 7 of their hearts.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it was Mentha or Syl who told me that it was Mentha, I think, who told me that Hope's spirit was in the tree. Or, like, Hope's spirit was there, and that her stuff was in the graveyard, and that she would resurrect at the light circle.
Yeah.
And so we got that news, and we're like, she's dead. There's nothing we can do right now. Let's go to the light circle. There's no way
she comes back.
There is no way that whatever this is, whatever's about to happen, this big glowy fucking angel motherfucking thing that was coming.
It was like a walking henge or something that was, like, walking around and, like, throwing everybody away.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea what it was.
I'm not sure. But it was cool.
But mostly I didn't know what it was because, you know,
we weren't really paying that close attention.
It was time to go. Yeah. So we gathered up all the Gen Vespin, and we hightailed it out the back door, so to speak, through the woods in the darkness, all the way to the light circle. Mm-hmm. And we sat there in the dark.
Just, like, silently.
The pitch black, and you can hear, like, fighting going on
and screaming
and, like,
and
people
and, like
all kinds of shit, and we're just like, I hope that Hope's spirit is strong enough, like, to resurrect. I don't know if she's, like, currently held by something or whatever.
Like, I hope she comes back.
And we're just waiting, and it's like, we'll get her stuff later. That doesn't matter. Like, making sure she makes it through the rest circle, that's the important part. And eventually we started seeing lights on the path, like walking towards Fenheim and stuff near where the light circle was. Mm-hmm. And it was Syl, and we got Syl over, and then Hope's spirit decided to go to the monolith instead, so we went there and, like, resurrected her there. But she was still missing her heart when she was brought back. Like, her heart was missing, which had some negative effects on her, obviously. And we didn't know what they were going to do with the hearts. We needed to get the hearts back.
Yeah.
They had gotten the Orb of Power, and I think Sylvana had, like,
Gone to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of dormancy, I think.
Or something. I don't really know. We weren't there. But we lost. We lost that fight. Like, the Huntsman, or I say the Huntsman, it's the Huntsmasters. The Huntsmasters, like,
they're the things that the, like, Ranger occupational summons. Like, they are the forces of pure nature.
Yeah. They had done what they wanted to do. And so we had to leave it at that, basically. We got the resurrections done. We tried to find some people's stuff. And then we went to sleep, I think, after that.
Yeah, we, like, got Hope, and we were like, let's just go to bed.
Yeah.
Monolith up.
Sunday.
Touching us.
first things first was witches on Sunday. So we got a call that there was a bunch of witches we needed to kill. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go kill witches. And we went to go kill witches.
Yeah, they told us there was going to be like a
six,
whole
like
bunch
a coven
that they
of
were
witches.
casting rituals.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
Yeah.
What we found was a single witch in a cave with a bunch of spiders. Little disappointing. I was hoping for like dramatic witch confrontation.
We wanted to kill lots of witches.
Yeah.
We got one.
But that's cool.
That's okay.
I mean, killing one witch is also good.
We tried to bring her back to like identify anything on her spirit and maybe sacrifice her on the monolith, but that didn't work either.
She melted.
We got her to the light circle, which was also an enchantment circle, and we got her there, and we were just about to like identify her. Cade was trying to identify her, and her imp showed up behind us and attacked. And as soon as we killed the imp,
she died.
Both of them died.
Yeah.
But they died in like a really weird way that I've never seen before. It was like we were really specific to ask like what the description was. It wasn't that like blood cloud that
where they disappear and everything.
It wasn't the ritual we're familiar with. She like melted, which was weird. We found out it was something to do like a common thing that happened to do with like that coven. So I think it was like something to do with that plot specifically, but something that I'd never heard of or seen before. So it was interesting.
But so that was easily dealt with.
Yeah.
Then we Sunday. The Thing.
The Thing started, yeah.
It was the Thing after that. So the Thing is the Einhar all thing. And it's like a party of the savage gods, you know? Where like we celebrate the savage gods and like do games in relation to them, and then like there's a feast.
Yeah, so they played like Einish chess, and they played a game for Sybil, and they did like a whole bunch of like really cool things, and they had a ton of food.
So the Sybil game is one that Amon has used a bunch of times before that she gave to Cade to use.
Which was
what
like
it is
a really
like,
big hit.
Yeah, it was a really big hit, and what it is everybody gets a bead they have to wear around their neck, and you lose your bead when someone comes up behind you unknown to you and says like, haha, I got you, you know, or whatever. You're not allowed to use weapons, spells, or alchemy, or any, you know, other means than your own sneakiness to get it.
Yeah.
And the person with the most beads by the time it's feast time wins. So it is a game of like touching people on the shoulders when they don't expect it, basically.
So it's a hunting game. You have to sneak up on people.
It created fucking chaos. Like, holy shit, it was like 4 hours of paranoia. Which is great. It was amazing. It was really good. I think it was a big hit. Yeah, good old sneaky beads. And then there was the Magnora game was making an ice cream sundae. I heard it from the tent. I was like napping.
I saw the ice cream out, and I was like, no.
The Magnora guy like talked to me about it a little bit. So what you had to do is you had two people. You had the builder and the assistant. And so the assistant or the builder, I don't remember which one, but like one of them had to make it and the other one had to eat it. So like you basically had you had to feed, like one of them had to feed the other one the ice cream. So like the only risk was that you get a little messy.
That's
you know
such
I mean?
a like a fun
but like
game
yeah,
for
you
Magnora.
build like a
something.
cool ice cream sundae and then your buddy eats it. You know, it's pretty great.
And then like Einish chess was like just people.
Einish chess is just people
up.
beating the shit out of each other, pretty much. I could hear the screaming for miles.
Yeah.
And then there was a Dinarthos one, which was like fighting in defense of like an egg or something. Like you had an egg and you had to keep it safe, like while you also like, I don't know exactly. I didn't see the Dinarthos one, but I heard a little description from Scarf, because he was running that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what the other ones were because I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I went and did another NPC shift, so.
Yeah.
I missed the game.
Yeah, fucking Shalabash showed up for the Einish Feast. So the ice elf from Zenithstrand that's played by Wes showed up. The one that like experiments with the brood all the time. And he was like, I have a writ to be here. Slaps down some paper and he's like, if anyone kills me, all the Einhar get executed. And we were like, damn it! That was our plan! We're gonna kill you. But like
He
that's
brought his shadow cats.
that's kind of we couldn't really do much. And he brought a bunch of shadow cats with him that he
was-
sold to the admiral.
Yeah, the Admiral bought some of them for his menagerie. It was really funny because when we walked into town, Dr. Moran, who has visited Zenistrand before, like, puts her hand on her head and calls across the field, like, Wes, do I see Shalabash? And we're like, yeah. And she's like, damn it! Like,
What the fuck,
yes,
Shalabash? I love it. I love it so much. I didn't really have much interaction with that because I think it was at that point that we went for our second Horton Farms run.
Yeah. So I went around with some other NPCs and just did like we were just like some crunchy shadow cats that like did some like chaos and it was fun.
We let you do your own shit, and we went to go get another ice cap. Okay. So we were away for like 45 minutes, and it turns out we missed out on like some Redemia, necromancy, witchcrafty bullshit. I don't really know, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Redemia came to town after I was done being a shadow cat.
And who is Redemia?
Redemia is like the daughter of the like.
Is it Black Channel stuff? Like the
it's
vampires?
like Black Channel stuff. So there's
Okay.
like mother and father, and they're like the most ancient vampires. There's like spooky things, and like Redemia is like the child of them. I don't know a whole ton about it, but it was spooky, and Hope and I went out and like talked to her and like learned what her goals were a little bit, and it was spooky.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Redemia is like 15 plus years of Jericho plot. All right, so I don't fucking. I don't know.
So there's a lot in there that we didn't know about, but it was cool to interact with. So.
Cool. Yeah, I missed out on that because I was busy drinking a delicious ice cap and sitting in the air conditioning for a little while during
plot or ice cap.
During that time.
Wish could have both.
Yeah, if only there were both. Actually, I got a frozen lemonade that time. That's better. It's good. Anyway. What was directly after that? Because I remember coming back and being like, oh, there's something happening. Undead was after that. So we ran, while we were coming back from the Tim Hortons, farm, we walked down the road and these guys from Ordo Nox are like, do you guys hunt undead?
Yeah.
And we were like, we can kill undead, sure. And they're like, okay, well, we need help with some undead because, like, one of our guys is down or whatever. Like, Banian. Yeah, Banian is down. And I'm like, okay, I don't know who Banian is, so I don't care about that. But I like killing undead, so that's cool. Well, like, we can do that. But we need to go get our stuff. None of our stuff is here, so we gotta go to camp. And we gotta go to camp and get Ray. So we go to camp, we gather some people up, and we come back, and we're like, all right, let's fight these undead. And they're like, they're not just regular undead. They're undead from our world. And I'm like,
what?
What?
So
yes, we're from a different world. A world similar to this one, but different. I'm like, okay, I will entertain this. Keep going. Just tell me more. He goes, yes, these undead, they are weak enough that silver will hurt them. But that means they are strong in every other way, or whatever.
Yeah, so, like, the physical description of these undead were, like, these gaunt, slightly translucent humanoids.
With, like, green skeletons.
Yeah, and their skeletons glowed with green light through everything.
Like, fucking Fallout ghouls.
So creepy.
But so they're from another world! Which I think is stupid. But, hey, that's just my opinion.
It was interesting.
I mean, it was just an undead mod. They weren't, like, mechanically any different, really.
Yeah, no, mechanically they're pretty much the same. They just, like, looked different.
So we went to fight some undead to get Banian's shit back, I think was basically mostly the goal.
Yeah.
And there was something about a vampire and that we needed to capture one of the undead.
Yeah. Apparently we had to capture one of the undead so that they could, like, prove the vampire who was making them or something. So
Anne was like, I can do that. Do you want me to do that? Like, I can capture one. And everybody was like, yes.
And he was like, listen, like, if I capture one, like, it could get me in trouble. So
don't
like,
say anything.
Like, are you sure you need me to do this?
Yeah. And they're like, yes, we need you to do it. All right, cool. So we made this bargain that was like, all right, he's going to do a thing that he's not supposed to do, but everybody said that they wanted it to happen anyway. Mm-hmm. So we went in, we went and killed some undead. I mean, killing undead is hardly a fucking event at this point.
Yeah, it was
Though, Syl had one cool moment that I have to relay where the death mage at the back was like, magic wasting death, and threw it at Syl, and she's like, arcane karmic ricochet, magic wasting death, back at him, and he's like, reflect magic, and she's like, arcane karmic ricochet wasting death, back at him. So this was like this ping pong ball of death spells.
He was touch casting it on people, and I was trying to get close enough to him so I could riposte it on him, but he wouldn't hit me.
And eventually it was just like, resist, and then she was like, arcane counter magic death class, and he's like, oh, dust.
Now I'm an old man.
Yeah. But it's pretty funny, like this little ping pong moment. Most of that mod I stood in the back and just like waited, because like I have found that a lot of Jericho's mods were in tight spaces, and Jericho PCs tend to do the like bunch up real hard.
Yeah, it was really difficult to actually get
like hit
into
stuff,
fight for stuff. So what I had to do a lot of the time was like stand at the back and get the NPCs that tried to spawn.
The respawners, yeah.
Yeah, and be like, killed those.
That's kind of what I did too.
Yeah.
But so so N goes up to one of the ghouls that's there and like identifies it as a lesser ghoul, so he knows he can control it. And he goes, control mindless, or whatever, and like brings it over.
Yeah.
And he like controls it out of the place, and it's like, okay, we got all the shit. We got the captured guy. We got the they're all dead. Cool, And so we head back to town, and you guys go way ahead of us because like people are lagging behind because they're like, we gotta kill this one last. Blah, 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 blah.
We're like, no, let's just get out of here.
No, we gotta get this undead to somewhere it's not gonna fucking get away. And so you guys get ahead, and you manage to put it in like a cage.
Yeah, the NPC played it like so well because he was like bound and had shackles on, and he was like rolling his head around and like snarling and biting at stuff. And to get him there faster, I was pushing him. And so I was like, push him, and he'd like run up the path and tumble and roll around. He was playing it so well. And then we got real close to town, and time on the spell started to run out. So I like picked him up, ran, stuffed him in the cage basically as the spell was wearing off. I was really lucky because their crow cage thing that they had was just cracked open slightly.
So you could just open it?
Otherwise we wouldn't have been able to open it because it had a lock on it.
Yeah.
So I was like, whew.
Yeah. So they managed to get this undead into the crow cage. And then Anna, was there. Yeah. I think she was there fighting the undead as well.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, let's go do the trade we were going to do.
Yeah.
I went to go get my stuff, and you and Ann went with Anna to their camp, and I went to go get Iman so that we could, do a trade thing.
I went with you.
Oh, were you with me?
Iman
with Ann?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The other way around. Sorry.
It's tired. It's
okay. So we went to go and
get
stuff to trade. And Iman went with Anna. Yeah. Anna is the paladin of Leandra in Jericho. Leandra doesn't have a great reputation with the Gen Vespin, but that's cool. Anna has really improved that, I would say. But so as I'm coming back through town with my stuff, Godwin, who's sitting on the bench, is like, come here, we need to talk.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what do you want? Godwin's like, Ordo Nox reported that your boy used some necromancy.
We're like, what? We don't have any necromancy.
No, we don't have any necromancy. And he's like, that's cool. We're going to ritually identify him, and if there's no necromancy, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, oh, it's dark, though. And I lean in, and I'm like, but it'll come up dark, Godwin. And he's like, oh.
That's also
well, that's
illegal.
also illegal. It's also bad. And
like, shit.
And we're like, and Syl went because she was with us, and she was like, well, Casimir should have dealt with that.
Yeah.
He was getting writs for himself and for everybody else in the camp.
Yeah, he was supposed to get
writs.
Casimir, why?
It's Casimir's fault.
Yeah.
Just fucking throwing him under the bus. And And he's like, well, he didn't get a writ for that guy, you know, like he had a list of names, and
Like, Casimir, how could you?
Like, Casimir must have forgot.
Yeah.
You know? And I go like, I'll go look for N. Sil, you talk to Casimir.
Yeah.
And Sil was like, okay, and she like went to go do that and like get him in on the plan, you know.
Yeah.
And we went. Because we're worried that like we're gonna get into law trouble here in Jericho, you know.
We've
like,
already gotten in trouble.
We've already
Let's
been
not
in
get
trouble,
more trouble
several times. And so we went to Enna's camp. It took us a little bit to find it because it was like out on a hill, and we had to like go up to a vantage point and like look around to find the landmark. But we did, and we went through the arch. And when we got there was already like a deputy or whatever talking to Enna and
it was a lawman, a deputy, and the executioner.
Yeah. But so they're already like there talking, and Enna's like pissed.
Yeah.
Enna is pissed.
She's like, how dare you?
How dare you be in my fucking camp? You know, like they came in through the back door. Like,
how dare you come into my camp and accuse elves of doing things?
She's super pissed.
It was great.
And like their story is all muddled up. It's like all kinds of stupid bad.
Yeah, like the details and all the things that happened at the wrong time.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense.
And whatever. And so they go to like confer, and we confer with Enna, and I'm like, okay, so we have plausible deniability, but we also have a problem because I told Godwin.
Yeah.
You know,
like they know
that it's a dark item, and then Enna just goes, oh, it's not a problem. And I went, what? She goes, En, give me the thing. I'm not going to leave your side. I will not leave your side through this entire situation. You give me the thing, and even if it's spirit linked, I'll be close enough that it won't matter, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah.
It's like, why didn't we think of this?
And he takes out his sword, and she goes, it's the sword. Well, they're not going to question why I have more swords.
She's like got 8
She's
swords.
got like 8 swords
Fucking
tucked in her belt.
Like another one.
So she puts the sword in, and she takes one of hers out and gives it to En to like put into his scabbard, sort of thing. And then we're just about to go and be like, all right, ritually identify him. Like, who fucking cares? Fuck you guys. Like, you're not going to find anything. You know? And then somebody comes up to us. I don't remember. Oh, it was the deputy. Yeah. He comes up to him and he's like, everything's dealt with.
You're innocent.
Everything's fine. You're innocent. It's good. And we're like,
what? It was like, Casimir did it.
All right, cool. So we left.
He's got a writ. It's fine.
It was Casimir. He has a writ. It's fine. They thought it was you, but it was Casimir.
Yep. They said elf.
They said wild elf, but Casimir had like the blue paint on, so you know.
Yeah, he did it. You can go.
Yeah, it's fine. You're good. So we're like, oh, that was a little anticlimactic. We were gonna do all this whole like weapon switchy thing.
Damn.
And then they swapped back their swords, obviously.
Yeah.
But so we went up to Fenheim to like report what had happened, and Sil was like, you got a 6 gold fine. You know, like for doing a bad thing.
Yeah, the like other deputies are waiting for us to pay the fine. We're like, damn it.
Damn it. So we're like, okay, well 6 gold is nothing. It's fine. You know, I take the 3 gold out of my pocket that we had, and like some other stuff.
But it meant that we like had to pay to help them.
Yeah. So while we were up at Fenheim, we decided to induct Cade into the swarm. Yeah,
because we had brought Enna back to give her something.
And we'd been talking about family and like all this other stuff. And yeah, we had told Enna about the. Should we reveal that?
Is it? I don't know.
We'll pass on that for now.
Okay.
But we brought Enna up to give her something. And then we were like, well, we can do this thing. And Enna knows family very well and like cares about Cade, so it's like important that we do this in front of the people who care about Cade.
So it's like, Enna, have a seat.
Apparently she thought she was gonna get stabbed. She didn't get stabbed. It's fine. But then we did a little rite to induct Cade into the family proper. Instead of just being Gen Vespin, he was part of our swarm, which is like part of the family unit.
Yeah, know? So we gave him this like leather bag that we had out of game made for him.
You had out of game made.
It's this little bag. It's made out of like hair on hide, like leather, and the front of it had the 3 green fangs, which was his old markings, and the inside, when you open it up, says "May your hunt never end" with a little fang symbol on it. This is just like a cool little bag that we made for him, and then we did a ceremony to induct him into the swarm, but we only had half the swarm there.
So we had to like represent the other absent members. So it was like, you know, Ray Adrenaline was like in Colrin's place, Colrin's blood, you know, and it was like we all cut and joined hands, sort of thing, and it was like just like a blood family thing.
Yeah,
you know?
just like we all held hands and.
It was really impactful it's hard to describe the impact of it.
Yeah, Anna cried.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
It was cool. But then Ed had to go pay his fine.
Yeah. When he had just cut his hand.
So yeah, he had just cut his hand. Oh yeah, the bag. I have some pictures from Scott. Hang on, friends. So this is a little bag that was made, that Tammy made for Scott, for Cade, and then the inside. On the inside, see, it says, "May your hunt never end." On the inside, like that, little belt pouch.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
And had to pay.
Oh, and had to pay. It's fine. So we had just done this like role playing, you know, like fucking blood ritual, for inducting Cade into the family. So Anne had the gold and took the gold up in his bloody hand that was covered in like fake blood and like grossness. And he had the blood in his bloody hand. And he's like, "I'm gonna go pay my fine." And he like walks off, and he goes over to Redtail, who's like someone he can pay the fine to. And he goes like, "Redtail, here's my fine," and he just like drops it in Redtail's hand. And Redtail's like, "Oh, thanks. That's a lot of blood." Like, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I guess it is." And then he just leaves. Like,
Oops.
Like, oops, the gold's covered in fake blood. Hope
Enjoy.
you like your blood money, people who we helped who reported us. Fucking dicks. Anyway. Ordo Knox, more like Ordo...
You suck.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Screw those guys.
We were grumpy.
Yeah. We fucking helped you. Anyway, moving right along. What was our Ordo Narcs? Yeah, that's a good one. What happened Sunday afternoon?
What?
Like after that?
After the blood money?
Yeah.
I
feel like it was just some bullshit for a little while.
I feel like, yeah, because we were just hanging out for a little while.
And then it was the undead, right?
And then, yeah, I think the undead was the next thing.
So we were just kicking around for a little while. We like visited with Anna and like we finished the trade that we were gonna do and stuff. Like now the drama was over, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And then there was some brood that we had to fight because they like popped up looking for the stuff that was important. And the scouting party we fought earlier. So the brood eggs. And the trade routes.
Yes, trade routes.
So we met trade routes. Trade routes are great. They are a root that pops out of the ground that says trade, and then like waits. Just go trade, and then waits for something.
And you can give it like anything that's tagged.
And whatever you give it, it takes.
It eats it.
And then it gives you something random back. Completely random.
We gave it 2 RM of wire and we got an amethyst worth of gold.
I gave it the brood leg that I talked about earlier, the one worth nothing. Yeah. And I got a 4 silver bag of tea leaves.
Good trade.
Not bad. Good trade.
Good trade.
And that's what they say. They trade. You give them the thing, they take it away, they stick something out and they go, good trade.
They're super great because if you like try to touch them, they like slowly try to engulf you. So
yeah, because they think you're trading.
You can trade them a person.
Yeah, because they can like physically engulf you and like take you, and you're like the trade, you know. So they're like sort of spooky, but also like fun.
Somebody was like, "Do you think you could trade them a person?" I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna try it. You, touch this." They were like, "No,
I'm not gonna try it. Sounds like a bad idea. You touch it." But But so yeah, we met the trade route, and Ray was immediately enamored by trade routes.
Yeah, I apparently my character loves trade routes.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't keep it together. I was just like,
I want one.
I want one.
Give. But anyway, so the trade routes. There's the brood eggs. But I don't want to talk too much about that because that's other people's story. That I don't want to get into if they don't want people to know or whatever. And the brood that came looking for them that we fought. Which were like tougher brood, which was fun.
yeah, like
we learned
stuff happened with the brood eggs for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Which was like
that was when we learned that people in Jericho don't get up from their asses to help you when you are fighting something. There was a bunch of brood in town center, and we were fighting them, and everybody else was just sitting there on the bench making fucking snide comments.
just watching. Which is so
I'm
weird.
like, oh, that's a different culture. Okay. But yeah, so that's nice. I didn't
handled it okay.
Honestly, because of that, I didn't feel bad about the skeletons.
We didn't need help. I
But,
guess.
No, we didn't. We killed them. We killed them anyway. But so then that night was the skeletons, or the undead.
Mm-hmm.
And we were up at camp, and then like a bunch of shit kicked off. We were about to make food, and then the undead attacked.
Screaming.
And we were like,
and
"What the
scattering.
fuck? What the fuck is
Like,
that?" And
bunch of voices in one place, and then
a lot of
awkward
noise
silence.
elsewhere. So our play was to like Cade was out in the town somewhere, but I think it was the moot. So he was at like something with a bunch of Einhar that we
knew he was with people who cared about him.
Yeah, so it was fine. Like we didn't have to go looking for him. So we backed up to the monolith, turned it on, and like listened in the dark.
Yeah, and it was so tense.
And we could hear the weapon fighting. We could hear the yelling. Eventually, it went super, super quiet for a little while, and we didn't know what was going on. Like, it was really tense, like really scary. There are like very few moments I've had before that were like as tense feeling as this one.
So like after like this long tense silence where we were all just sitting, listening, Cade came back.
Yeah, so Cade comes running up, and he's like, "Are you guys okay?" We're like, "Yeah, we're fine. We're behind the monolith." You know, the Cogs there and Lark, and they went off a little earlier, I think, before Cade came back.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's like, "I gotta go back and like help."
My friends are there. I have to help them.
And we're like, "Stay with us, Cade. Like, be safe. You know, like stay with us." And he's like, "No, I gotta go." And then Ray's like, "I'm not gonna let you go by yourself. You know, you step up," and steps up, and
like,
we're all like, maybe we should go, but Syl and I are like, we would be a liability in the dark, and we'd be slow, and we'd keep you.
So we went as a group of 3.
So it was N, Ray, and Cade that went to go fight. Like, all of our best fighters, basically, who went to go and help. Like, you got to tell the story for this, because I don't...
It was really... it was cool, because we went there, and it was just kind of... the fight had, I think, been going poorly, and then they pushed back, so they're starting to push the undead back, but they just kept coming. They weren't really getting anywhere with it. So N comes in and starts identifying undead. And he finds that one of these undead is carrying a mummy sarcophagus on his back. So we're like, okay, there's a sarcophagus. We have to destroy it. That'll stop the biggest thing here. Like, destroy that sarcophagus. But we can't destroy the sarcophagus because it is surrounded by this undead with this shield that is, like, I'm pretty sure bigger than the NPC carrying it. Like, this shield is huge. So nobody can get at the sarcophagus. Nobody can get at its protectors. So we fight it. Finally figure out which one we need to kill. Throw some spells into the shield, because that's how you kill something with a shield.
Yeah, because the shield doesn't stop magic.
The shield finally goes down, which means we can get at the one with the sarcophagus. We kill the one with the sarcophagus, pry the, I think somebody playing like he was dressed like a raccoon or something? I'm not sure exactly. I think he was a wolven. Anyway, he pries the sarcophagus off his back, jumps on it, destroys it. Fawn. There we go. Sorry.
In the dark.
In the dark, yeah. So yeah, he pries the sarcophagus off the guy's back, jumps on it, destroys it. Anna and I basically feel like the fight was won because we showed up and were able to help because
like
nobody
took the
nobody knew who to kill. And nobody could kill the one with the shield until I, like, hit all my light bolts into it and, like, killed it. So we basically felt like we showed up and saved everybody, but that was just, you know.
It's a good feeling.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
And then, so the sarcophagus was destroyed, and all the other undead just crumbled to dust, and it was over, like, very quickly after we arrived. So we felt pretty cool.
Then you guys got back.
Yeah.
And we had late dinner. Really late dinner. Because our cooking had been interrupted.
Every time we wanted to eat, something happened.
So we had really late dinner and then bed.
Yeah.
And then it was Monday. What happened on Monday?
I have no idea what happened on Monday.
Oh yeah, you were asleep the whole time.
I woke up on Monday and peered.
Oh no, you're totally right. Anna stuff Sunday night. I totally spaced the Anna stuff. And Nidhogg curb stomping. Totally right.
Oh yeah, no, because we tried to go to bed and then we got woke up again.
Yeah, so we had to. First of all, Anna had invited us to come and help, like, purify an elven shard that she'd found, and of course we're gonna help. Yeah. Because Anna asked and she said, "You just have to be in attendance."
Yeah, just come and be there.
Just come and be there. And so we did. The shard was clearly corrupt, and the like ghost that was the elf was like taunting people and whatever.
Yeah, like, I betrayed Leandra long ago. I hate her. I won't go back.
And then like they tried to purify it by like handing it around to various elves and like having them touch it, and it did get better, but the worry was that it was just diluting.
Yeah, like, it got better,
the corruption
but not
was going
enough,
into the elves.
so
and
it was
out.
like either not enough of us touched it or something. But like, I didn't want to touch it because like, that's a corrupt shard. What if it corrupts me?
Well, like, automatically, like, none of the Gen Vestment touched it. And,
yeah,
like Syl didn't touch it.
None of us touched. I think like if any one of you had touched it, I would have immediately tried to like snatch it away. Which means we would have all ended up touching it, but because no one touched it, nobody else touched it.
Yeah, Miala offered it to me, and I was like,
I
don't know if I would be able to help it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't want to touch it.
So we were there while that was happening, and it was like a nice little, it was like a ceremony thing, and it was cool to be like in the presence of.
It was really cool role play.
Like a Leandrite ritual, you know?
Yeah, like she prayed to Leandra and stuff happened, and it was like really good role play, and I got to see like all the other elves that were like her friends like really show support and like how much they were a family and how much they cared about each other. It was really cool.
I believe you publicly declared at the Leandrite event, "I hate Leandra, but I support you."
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, the spirit was like, well, why
Syl
the hell are
also
you
said
here?
that.
And I was like, well, I hate Leandra, but I'm here for Anna, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And then we went to bed and got woken up again for Nidhogg curb stomping.
Yes. Yes.
So we'd been, our whole deal was that we came to like defend the World Tree. And the World Tree had been getting, like, sicker, and the Huntsmen were, like, involved, and the Brown Dragon was doing stuff, and I don't really know what the fuck was going on, honestly. Like, I have no fucking clue.
Like, we tried to gather information, but it was very
all
confusing.
The information
and
was
I think
confusing.
It was, like, a plot line that had been going on for a while, so we just couldn't discern enough to completely understand what was happening.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. So, but we went down to the sapling that was, like, the representation of the Tree of Life in this area, and it got, like, consumed by this thing, like, came up. And we fought a bunch of, like, you know, brown drakes and, like, weird maw worms and, like, spooky stuff down in the little area. And then eventually we got pushed back, and this guy who's, like, this brown draconian.
Yeah, he had no face.
He had just, like a big mouth.
Instead of eyes, there was just skin.
So he had, like, this big, like, mouth, and he was, like, the maw of Nidhogg. Right? Mm-hmm. He was like, I must consume to sustain myself, you know, like all this other stuff.
And we're like, you're gonna kill all of us.
And I believe Syl was just like, I don't want to listen to this monologue. So he was like, ritual repel, and everybody got like pushed back. Power word area repel, and everybody got pushed back. And she was like, arcane counter magic nature. And then we came back in, and he borrowed. Then he came back up, and he's like, repel.
We could like get pushed out. went in and fought him, and then got pushed out again.
Well, and then he did, he was about to do another repel, and he got Twist of the Tongue nature.
He got Twist of the Tongue nature, which means he could have cast one more spell, but as soon as you cast that other spell...
You're silenced for an hour.
Yeah, your tongue gets twisted, so you're like... You can't talk properly. So he cast one more repel, and then tried to monologue, but
he couldn't monologue!
Were, like, messed up because his tongue was all twisted, so he's like... It was just, like, really funny.
Like, I'm pretty sure what they wanted to do was push us back, monologue, and then have, like, some kind of fight, or if he was going to disappear or whatever. But we basically, like, ruined it by...
like, no, we don't want to hear what you have to say.
By being like, what? You want to say something? Nah, eat shit. Like...
Now you die! So it's just, like, it was kind of funny. Like, the mod started really, really intense. Like, they had... like sound effects. They had a speaker with some like wind sound effects, and they had lights, like spotlights lighting up the mod area and stuff, and it was like really cool, and the mood was really cool, and the mod had started out like really intense and everyone was all serious, but we kept getting like wind tunnel pushed out of the mod area and then running back in to like fight him, and then like wind tunnel pushed back out, so by the end of the mod we were all just kind of giggling.
Yeah, it was like, this guy's got nothing.
Like, it was funny, and, like, he finally, like, burrowed away, and we were like, okay, we scared him, he's not coming back.
Okay, it's over.
It was just, like,
yeah.
It was fun.
It was. And then we went to sleep.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted by that time, I almost forgot that we did that.
Because we tried to go to bed 3 times.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, after chatting with Dibs for a while, we traded funny stories and just, like, giggled in the tent.
Yeah,
you know,
we shared the,
we
like...
were so exhausted that everything was hilarious.
Yeah, we shared the, like, bad, human jokes.
Yeah.
With the Jericho.
So the way that you do a bad human joke, like a human mocking joke, is that you cover your ears so that your ear points are not showing, and then you say something mocking in a human voice.
Like, taxes.
Taxes, that was a good, yeah, Anna's taxes was pretty good. But, like, my favorite one is, save me, Blood Red Rose, I'm useless. The Blood Red Rose are, like, a charity organization, basically, for peasants.
Or just, like, I'm gonna
live to the ripe old age of 65. You know, stuff like that.
It's just kind of funny, because, like, in character, we all live a long time, but then, like, out of game, we're all like, oh. So that's kind of...
As a member of the Rose, this is exactly what humans sound like, says someone in chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good trade.
Good trade.
Anyway, it was just like some bullshit. We were so exhausted that it's like, yeah.
Everything was funny.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So we went to bed, and the next morning was uneventful up until the final mod, basically. If I remember correctly. Like, mostly. Was there anything? I don't remember anything. That doesn't necessarily mean nothing happened.
I heard there were more brood, like, in the morning.
Oh, yeah, the brood wake up. Yeah, they fucking snuck their little tentacles in looking for the eggs, and we had to fight them.
Yeah.
A little bit of a brood wake up mod. But, like, we'd been fighting brood for a little while, so it didn't seem unique to me.
It's just more brood.
More brood.
Which I'm good with.
And
I like more
we
brood.
checked to see that the people who had the eggs, like, were safe, and then that was that.
Yeah.
And then it was final mod time! Final mod time! We ruined the final mod.
I'm so happy.
If I ruined it, I mean, like, it was supposed to be a big combat with a Huntsmaster, and we turned it into talking. And we, like, negotiated for the hearts back instead of, like...
But we didn't want to fight the Huntsman, so, like...
So, like, it worked out for us.
We did what we would have done.
But we did the whole, like, defend nature thing instead of, like, kill the Huntsmans and take back the hearts. I don't really know what happened in the final mod. I'm not gonna lie, because I wasn't there for half of it. Because Electra wanted to use her cool new brood power and summon a psionic brood assassin. But there were no NPCs to play the psionic brood assassin. So I was like, I will play it, Electra. And she's like, yay! So I went and got changed, you know, and got into psionic brood assassin gear. And then just stood around, basically, for the last of the final mod. Because I was summoned for a fight, but there was no fight.
Yeah, no, like, N was, like, I think like N and Hope like had a yelling match.
Syl and N yelled at each other too.
Syl and N as well, and it was just like, no, we're not fighting this. No, nobody's fighting. That's it.
Hey guys, is that a brute psionic warrior? No, it's a brute psionic assassin. Oh, that's fine. Wait, what? It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was just like wrecked the final mod of like, no, nobody gets to fight.
But so it was pretty good.
Aggressive peacekeeping.
It was pretty good. Like it was like, you know, in LARP things never work out necessarily the way you plan them, and like the shapers had to react on the fly, and
no plot survives first contact with players.
Yeah, so it was a cool little final mod that was like negotiating with the Huntsmasters for the hearts back, and like trading some townspeople's hearts for the hearts of those visiting. And,
which I don't know. Like I kind of hope that like interacting with it that way maybe changes the outcome. Of
yeah,
like,
maybe it does.
Has an impact.
But that's really all I have to say about it. There really isn't much else I can say about it because I didn't really interact with it very much. I was
asleep.
I was a brute assassin, so I really wasn't thinking about what people were saying. I was actively trying to tune out the information. Basically, the only thing I was listening to was Syl.
Makes sense.
So anyway, that was our game, and it ended right after that.
Yeah.
It was super cool. We met a bunch of cool people who I think some might come out to visit us now, and you know, like
super cool.
It'll be cool. It'll be cool stuff. General thoughts, feelings.
I had fun. It was different. It was a little bit surreal for me.
The culture's different, for sure.
Just to be like, to play the same game in a different way.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
I think, for me, like, the weather obviously can't be controlled. Like, it hurt me, but it can't be controlled. So I can't, that's nothing. I think for me, the pacing felt really weird. Because it was like nothing, inconsequential bullshit we beat in a second. Inconsequential bullshit we beat in a second. Nothing, death! Like every day, pretty much. Like, so it felt, I don't know, it was like a weird pacing. But I'm also not privy to all the information, so maybe those things...
We didn't see everything that happened.
Or maybe those things were broadcast.
We had no idea what was going on anywhere else.
Yeah, so like from an outsider's perspective, it felt a little strange. I definitely think it was interesting to see the guild that in my brain I held to such high like esteem, to such high standards, have the same mistakes that any guild would make.
It was really funny because when I went for the Saturday NPC shift, like they said come first thing Saturday morning. And then when I got there, the player that I was doing the thing for was
also on shift.
So it was just funny to see that they make, like, I've literally made that exact mistake where I've prepped somebody up to go on a mod, and then I'm like, oh, wait, that's not going to work right now.
Yeah, because, I mean,
it was kind of nice. It was, like, a breath of fresh air to, like, see that they make the same mistakes that I do, that, like... been beating myself up over these mistakes, and I'm like, it's kind of okay.
I guess the thing,
because it happens everywhere.
I guess the thing for me is like I'm interested to see what the consequence of those mistakes will be, because for instance the call on contact alchemy that was incorrect amplified that mod's difficulty by a magnitude of like 10.
Yeah.
Where we could have fought against those things, instead we really couldn't. So I wonder if like what the deaths will look like and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And that's not up to me, right?
Yeah, no.
I just wonder if they realize that sort of thing as well.
Like I think they knew that they like they made the call that was contrary to the rules in that case, like after the fact, and like but it's just weird because like it was just like realizing that they kind of are the same, and like everybody does make mistakes.
Just a guild.
Like they're the same as we are, like whereas like. It's this like this home chapter where it was like, you know, a lot of people hold on to these like really high standards, and it's like,
no, it's just
we're all the same. We're all just people.
It's It's Underworld, the same as any Underworld. Yeah. I had enough fun that I would come back. That's what I would say. Like I I was hype, and it was really nice to meet new people and also to interact with some people who I had only cursorily interacted with in like strange ways before.
If I go back next year though, like May or September, like,
definitely different time of year. Yeah, because July was killer.
July
it was really
is so
hot.
I don't even like July where I live. So July in a hotter climate.
Yeah, I think better for us to pick a game that's like closer to the beginning or the end of the season, to go out to.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Yeah, I had a good time, and it was nice like to visit with people and like go to the place that they call home instead of them coming to me. You know, making some new friends on Facebook from fucking Jericho. Hey, you know, yeah.
Yeah, people were cool.
I think that's kind of what I got to say. So I guess I'll cut the VOD here, and then we'll just chat later, VOD people.